Yo, what's good, people? King of the Pit TV. DJ Shadow introducing. This is devoted and dedicated to Ray D. Ray D at KOTPTV. Thank you very much for the recommendation. This was over on the Patreon. At first glance, I thought, okay, we got a substantial amount of material, got 16 tunes on this. But with that being said, we do have a few interludes. So we've got 47 second tune to start, an introduction of sorts, I assume. We've got Transmission 1 at 36 seconds, we've got Untitled at 25 seconds, Transmission 2, 1 minute 30, Organ Donors 158, Why Hip Hop Sucks in 96 is 44. So we do have and Transmission 3 to finish off at 111. So I guess, you know, it's not as broad as 16 numbers, but we do have some. We've got a good amount of material on here, to say the least. I've never come across DJ Shadow, or have I? This is going to be a change, I think, from our norm. Do I know who DJ Shadow is? Has he produced for anyone else, or is he an independent engineer? We're going to find out. 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 I'm not familiar with DJ Shadow. This starts off with Best Foot Forward. And then we're going to go on to track number 2.
Bob Wood, National Program Director of the Chum Group, worked with us in producing.
Thanks for the recommendation. This is a change from the norm, man. I don't know what we're getting into.
Hold up, before we get started.
Guess who's coming? Guess who's coming? Guess who's coming?
What's going to be good is if this is beats and whatnot, if this is hip-hop production, I get to finally engage over information I don't normally do on this channel. You know, generally we just talk guitar, rock and the likes, right, the adjacents. But don't get me wrong, I don't mind hip-hop when I was younger, a little bit more so. I like rap music, I like mainstream 808 booming, ignorant, primitive, trap adjacent music. I don't like drill music and whatnot, like, you know, murder music. But I do like you know, badly behaved music, you know? Which, of course, is adjacent to hip-hop. I was a little bit more involved in my hip-hop back when I was... Call it a decade ago now. Call it a decade ago. So this sort of stuff isn't abnormal to me, man.
Yeah, who is he? Just your favorite DJ Savior.
Are we going to have performers, vocalists on these tunes, I wonder?
You're just fessing, man. I don't even want to hear about it. You're just fessing.
Building Steam with a Grain of Salt is going to be track number 2. We're going to get an advertisement. So let's have a look at the comment section whilst we can. The drum program is next level, says Paul Asperry. Or Paul. Genuinely one of the best songs of all time, or one of the best albums of all time, not a single skip, says someone else. Right, let's get that volume on.
Producing.
Where does this come from? This can't be the original. This is a sample, but where does this original come from? This piano work. Unless this is where it originally stems, I doubt it.
From listening to records, I just knew what to do. I mainly taught myself. And, you know, I did pretty well, except there were a few mistakes.
By the way, if you're joining me just now, we're just joining from the start. I don't know if I'm going to be able to listen through to the whole record tonight, because you're going to see me squinting a lot. I am tired. But you never know, I might get gassed up. I might get gassed up. We'll have to find out.
Cleared up, you know.
From Splinter Cell.
I'd like to just continue to be able to express myself.
Someone's made a list of all of the samples.
As best as I can on the instrument. And I feel like I have a lot of work to do.
I don't know if I know any of the samples by name.
Of the drums.
Splinter Cell
And I'm also a
Conviction.
teacher of the drums too.
Between you and me, I actually very, very, very brief stint but I actually tried to do a little hip hop thing at one point. My mate started producing beats. They weren't good, and I wasn't good, but you know, we liked smoking a couple of bud and listening to rap and whatnot, and we gave it a little go. And I think I put one number together, and you know what? I actually spit some beats in the woods. I spit some lyrics in the woods to a Nas beat. Not a Nas, it was a producer called Cooking Soul. And Cooking Soul had taken Illmatic and applied his own beats to Nas's lyrical. And Cooking Soul did a instrumental for the tune Life's a Bitch, and I really enjoyed that one. Very flute heavy, great uplifting melody, phenomenal hip hop beat, and I found the instrumental and in the middle of these woods. I don't know if I was under the influence. We were definitely rolling a bifter, if not the least. I definitely spit a few bars. Can you believe it? The audacity. Realistically, I think if you're not from that background, if you're not like rooted and centered and have a foundation in that particular field, I think it's very uncomfortable and unnatural to try and your way in, you know. But when you're cool, calm, comfortable, and it's like the culture you've grown up in, I think, you know, regardless if you can spit well or not, or if you're a lyrical guy or not, just the comfort in your expression is just, you know, what's necessary. And I'm not that. Although my first album, well, arguably my first two albums, my first two physical CDs I got gifted to me on Christmas. Through my request, they were rap albums, but I won't tell you what one of them is because it's just madness. But one of them, it isn't rap, don't get me wrong, but it's adjacent. It is adjacent because it's lyrical R&B content generally. I got Welcome to Nellyville. Because I like that tune Dilemma. To this day, I still think Dilemma is one of the greatest fucking numbers ever. Like, the hook is phenomenal. I got a little playlist where I just put like sweet little numbers and stuff, like big pop hits and stuff. I got like T-Pain on there with Bartender. Just Hold On, We're Going Home by Drake, which I think is a phenomenal number. Yeah, just love a guy R&B sort of vibes, you know. Pop R&B, you know. Dilemma's a banger, innit? Beautiful Girls by Sean Kingston, come on.
What makes cancer tenacious? The moon rules the fluids, including the inner juices of human beings, that which assimilates and feeds the body. So the crab feeds his astral brain, assimilating and distributing all he receives slowly until it becomes a part of him.
Someone says astonishing by the fact this was all done before 2000, and someone says there's a lot of great... I believe OP is referencing how impressive the sampling is considering the older technology. I've seen some good sampling done pre-2000. Did you ever come across that Kanye West... There's a Kanye West compilation on YouTube of his old recordings, his old beats prior to being... I think it was prior to him joining Rockefeller Records and doing all of the hit songs and whatnot, but like his early day recordings. That's fascinating to listen to. That's fascinating. Come on now. Also, whilst we're here, because I've never been able to talk about this sort of stuff, I actually tried doing beats myself as well. I wasn't good, but I had a whale of a time. I used to produce on FL Studio, Fruity Loops. I had a great time, and then I went on from Fruity Loops and I started... there was a brilliant guy. I used to work in a particular workplace, and one of the clientele was this really cool dude. He was an older man, and one thing that stood out in my memory of him is he was schizophrenic. Like he... when he was present in this place we would work at, like sometimes he would have an episode, and that was fascinating, and it was one of like the more standout components of his character. Clearly, you know, it's a bold situation, and he showed me how to crack. I mean, hypothetically, he showed me how to do it. Of course, I didn't do it. Ableton. And I messed around on Ableton for a bit, producing music. How cool is this? I'm getting to talk about stuff I've never been able to talk about before. Honestly, like my not saying that I'm coherent in the world of music production or music in general, but it's nice to discuss and actually explore myself of the vast spectrum of experimentation I've sort of explored in creative arts, man. Thank you, Ray, for the recommendation and having us listen to something a little bit different, you know? But what would you actually call this? Because surely hip-hop is, you know, more the vocal than anything else. What would you call this? Is this quite simply just... Well, we've got a genre at the side, electronica. But is it? Like, I'm not very clued up with strict production terminology when it comes to genres, you know? Would you call it sampling, like plain and simple? Because I assume that was a technique more so than, you know, a particular style. A genre. We got composer Jeremy Storch. I wonder if that's a family member of the great Scott Storch, if we're talking producers, eh? That little 808 go off there. Listen. Boom! Bass drop. It's almost trip-hop-esque, would you call it that? I'm not very well versed on trip-hop aside from like Massive Attack. Who else was trip-hop? I don't know. But this realm also sort of exists within the Fatboy Slim space as well, isn't it? But I think Fatboy Slim's more dance music, right? They're all producers to me. Someone in the comments referencing someone with severe schizophrenia as well.
And I would like to be able to continue to let what is inside of me, which comes from all the music that I hear, I'd like for that to come out. And it's like, it's not really me that's coming, the music's coming through me. The music's coming through, music's coming through, music's coming through, music's coming through, music's coming through.
We got the number song coming up next. Who put this out? Mowax Recordings, A&M Recordings, A&M Records. Right, we got the number song next. See you there. Yes, now bless now people, let's not forget the rest now. King of the Pit TV. DJ Shadow of the record Introducing. We're on track number 3, arguably track number 2, as we had a brief introduction on the Introduction record. This is the number song. Let's jump in.
2, 3, 4, 5. Breakdown, baby.
Metallica reference, eh? Shark Whisperer makes a bold statement. It says, this shows that hip-hop doesn't need rapping. Rapping is overrated. Do you consider it hip-hop if it's just instrumental? I was going to read the comment here, but someone's gone. Wall of text. Can't be asked. Was DJ Shadow on the Tony Hawk soundtrack? Sounds like something that should have been on the Tony Hawk soundtrack at some point. Shall I find out? I wouldn't be surprised. One moment. Nah, no Tony Hawk soundtrack. But on my search, I did find an interesting sort of tag for DJ Shadow, and there was a reference of the style. Crate digging, not that it's a legitimate genre, but just the reference of crate digging. I thought that was quite fascinating. Of course, that's searching for records to sample, potentially, as we see in the image before us. Crate digging's cool. I've never been a vinyl head, so I once went through a moment, and maybe if I ever came across some money, I would do this. Coming into possession and buying, i.e. investing in rare records, historical records, to invest in, generally to potentially sell at some point. So looking at music from a financial standpoint, but if you have a rare record, how many of you lot like to play it? You know what I mean? If it's worth a couple of quid. I got loads of friends who collect records though, don't get me wrong. And to this day, I talk to them and I say, flipping hell, like, as a grown man, because I know you got a little bit more expendable cash when you're younger, or you prioritize your money going elsewhere. I talk to my friends who collect records and I say, do people actually still buy records? Because with the economy, not necessarily the over here in England at the very least, the way they take the piss out of you left, right and centre through anything you buy, records are no different compared to when I was younger, which a record was still expensive enough. Now one single record is just like, what? Why am I paying so much for that? You know? Obviously, you understand why you're paying so much for that, but comparatively, economically, it's just like, it seems unfeasible as far as value correlation is concerned, you know? You've just got a new record out and you expect me to go out and pay more than 30 quid for it? No flipping way. Don't get me wrong. I know these streaming services are but the devil themselves and just a nail in the coffin as far as the creator is concerned. But as a consumer, I could do a lot with 30 quid. Do you know? I could take that 30 quid and I could get what? I could get, for me personally, I could get a week's of food out of that. I could get 1 week of food. I could get 1 week of survival out of that. Easy. Easy. But you pay that much just for one album? What? This is the one channel you're going to come across as far as music is concerned where the person behind it affirms not supporting the artist. Come on now. As an artist myself, I say fuck the artist. Be a man, look after your kids instead, you know? I'm joking. If you've got the money, go get it, you know? Enjoy yourself, have a hobby, man. I would. What I would do and what I wanted to do is just create a small but potent record collection of rarities. Hardcore punk, ska records, maybe go into a bit of Motown, soul adjacent stuff, and just strictly have classic collectibles, you know? You know, that'd be sick, man. So it's meshed together these countdowns and these numeric references. What would you call this? Is this like breakbeat? Is this a breakbeat? Come on now. Very good. Very good. Keeps the head moving, doesn't it? Keeps the head moving. Keeps the head moving. That was the Number song. Someone referenced that Metallica Orient, so I assumed that was just like the undercurrent initially, the vague like note, the drone that we had at the start. It wasn't the clearest reference to that which we all know so familiar, but to be honest with me, I don't listen to Orient or Orion, you know, whatever it's called. It's an instrumental, isn't it? The Metallica instrumental. Fuck the instrumentals. We got, I don't know how to pronounce this. Changeling? Changeling? What is this? Changeling. Let's find out. Track number 4 coming up next. Yes? Yes, now bless now, people. Don't forget to rest now. King of the Pit TV, DJ Shadow, with their record Entroducing, devoted to my man Ray, who recommended this on the Patreon. The title of this one is Changeling. I googled it because I was like, how do you pronounce this? Am I missing out on something here? Because I don't really know what a changeling is. A changeling is a replacement per se of a supernatural, but a supernatural would leave in replacement of like an abducted individual. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. This is Changeling, a whopping 7 minutes 16. Let's go. We're listening to DJ Shadow. This might be a classic, man. There's a video here, 181,000 views, how DJ Shadow sampled his way into history, the story of Entroducing. Someone says he did this all with tape loops and by hand and sampling. There were no computers back. Well, there were computers back then. Let's not give misinformation. I know you're naive. There were definitely computers. There's been computers since the 60s, my brother. But let's go. Maybe defined a style, you know? Is this where sampling really became a thing? Let's go now. Come on. One. Oh, you know what? I've not felt the presence of a bass line until now. Which you would think, you know, hip-hop is very bass heavy, very bass prominent, and it's been very drum percussive orientated on this, but now we've got a real bass frequency there, huh? Someone referencing Boards of Canada in the video. When I was in high school, I had a few mates who liked to skate, and yeah, they were into the Boards of Canada. I think they popped the Boards of Canada on one of their videos, to be fair with you. Coming now. That made me feel motion sick. Interesting. Regner said this album was the perfect soundtrack when we all thought it would be all over with the rapidly approaching year 2000 and Y2K. Fascinating. Is that like an end time prophecy reference? Because I was young when it came to the year 2000. I was alive. Don't you get me wrong. I do remember year 2000. Don't you get me wrong. But it wasn't. I was too young for it to be a, you know, craziness. And in all honesty, thinking about it now, I'm not going to wish my life away, but if I was born earlier to really appreciate the year 2000, that'd be wild. Like, that'd be insane to think, holy crap, I was alive during the year 2000. Whoa, that's the party of a lifetime, really, is it not? There is no party better than this. This is year 2000. Welcome to the future. That's crazy. We've left the singularity and now we're in the duality. Whoa. Y2K reminds me of, I don't know if it's an Ice Spice album or like song she did, but it just reminds me of her. Ice Spice is like my crush, man. I do like a thick little thing, a little curvaceous thing, I think. Do you know what I mean? Not gonna lie to you people. I don't want to. No, I'm not gonna go into it. I'm not gonna go into it. Shut up. I was gonna talk about, as I'm getting a little bit older, you know, I'm starting to appreciate particular ethnicities and whatnot. We can't go too deep on that one, can we? Come on now. Always did, you know, have an eye for a lady regardless of the ethnicity, but as I grow a little older, I go through the motions, you know. At a workplace so many years back, question got posed and it was just like, what's your celebrity crush? And I made the crowd go wild. Trust me. Bro, I said flipping Nicki Minaj, didn't I? I made the crowd go wild with that. Den4UK says the calmest thing I've heard since Brian Eno and his airport music. I don't think this is calm. I don't think this is calm music at all. Harmonically, it might be a bit more relaxed, but as far as the rhythm is concerned, bruh, whomever is on the drum kit is beating their brakes off of the drum kit. Da, 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 da. That snare, dun 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 dun. Needs a little call and response. I guess it does to an extent. Bum 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 bum. Taste little number gave us a lot of space to discuss. You know what? When you don't have a human being verbalizing on top of a track, it gives a lot of room for thought. You can utilize it as a color to your train of thought, you know. Where do we go? It's colorized by the audio as to which we listen to. Music can influence us, and it creates grand discussion listening to such expressive music in an instrumental form. It actually creates more discussion than if there was an artist on top of this expressing themselves, you know, because we're hearing their expression, whereas this serves as a meditative audio for you to formulate your own thoughts and think as you are experiencing the music, and essentially be the frontman of the music as to which you're listening to. We got a transmission coming up next. Well, we'll throw the transmission on now, yeah, whilst we're listening to this, and then we're gonna you know, move onwards to what does your soul look like? Okay, what the hell is
If you've been waiting,
now that's a beautiful lady.
Stop scrolling. We're looking for people in the UK who are interested in this revolutionary laser eye surgery procedure. Almost all.
Sign me up. Sign me up. I'm signing up. I'm signing up. Like a ginger lady as well. Don't you get me wrong. I think her hair was dyed. I think she was like more of a brunette, but a natural ginger. Procreation worthy, people. Procreation worthy. Right, we're moving on to What Does Your Soul Look Like Part 4, yes? Are you ready? I'll see you on the next video, yeah? Here we go. Slow is the tempo. I'm talking about an info. So here it out, here goes the info. Wagwan. I said, I spoke in Jamaican patois at the start of one of my videos, and someone called me out for it, believe it or not. Not necessarily in a cultural way, but in relation to the words that were said in particular. Said, "Oi, you can't say that, all right?" So I'll keep my wataguans to myself, and phrases and terms to myself from there on. All right, what does... I digress, people, I digress. I'm joyful, I'm happy, I am affirming my own reality. What Does Your Soul Look Like? Part number 4 by DJ Shadow on the record Entroducing by the man, the legend that is, well, not necessarily by the man, but put forward by the man, the legend that is Ray. Unless Ray as a pseudonym, and that's DJ Shadow, that could very well be the case. Who knows? Maybe Ray is DJ Shadow. But with that being said, it was recommended on the Patreon. One love to my brother over there. What Does Your Soul Look Like? Part 4 is the title of this one. Come on. Whoa! I'm not playing it from the right space. Let me get this through the old system here, alright? God forbid I ever have to change this laptop and whatnot, purely because I'm not very good with tech. I don't know how to reset this back up in the way I've got, you know? bad. It's having a bit of a struggle, is it? Well, someone says this is the first all-sampled music LP in history, fully arranged and produced by Shadow. I had the pleasure of meeting him a few years ago, unassuming, cool genius. Do you know what? To me, that sounds like a nightmare as far as copyright is concerned. Everything is sampled is crazy. Especially, hey, if I'm one of these artists and I'm looking on YouTube and I'm seeing 228k views, 337k views, wait a minute, shall we have a look if it's so if I open the YouTube description here, it'll show like if any particular music's been used. Let's see if, so it just says what does your soul look like. That's the music, so it's not giving royalty to any other acts. And I know that as far as sampling is concerned, it tends to be a one-time payment for publishing rights, and it tends to be a lot of bloody money, believe it or not. It's a lot of money, because why wouldn't it be? So I wonder how the business of this album worked out, you know, if it's all sample. Bling. Have we actually got DJ Shadow on the cover here? Is he one of the two individuals we see depicted on the image? It wouldn't surprise me, because when we had a look at a little bit of information on Wikipedia, it stated that it was crate digging, which is going and looking for records, right? Obviously to sample, and this is a depiction of such. Was this really like the gateway to sampling? Is that really true? Like, were we not sampling prior to this, like to a bold degree? I can't. Did the Beastie Boys not sample at all? Well, Nas in Illmatic most definitely sampled. There's a Michael Jackson sample in there on one of the latter tracks, right? But this is special because it's purely sampling, is that right? There's no, like, original production value. If you know what I mean. Of course it's original in its own way, you know? Gran Turismo, that's hard. Someone says can't help think about Gran Turismo, that's hard. And someone says great movie, nope, that's not what he's talking about. So it's a Gran Torino. Yeah, Gran Turismo's hard. Bling, 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 bling. Let's go. Da 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 ba da da. Ba da da ba da da. Ba. I bet there's been so many artists who have thrown a few freestyles over the top of this over the years. Not this in particular, but the album as a whole, like particular tunes. It's a jam, innit? It's a jam. With all due respect, it's good background music. You know, it's consistent, hypnotic in a sense, and it gives you just a cool vibration to operate on. Very cool. We got an untitled number here. We'll just throw this on. 25 seconds. Panadol Extra. Yes. The University of Law. More ways you can get ahead. More one-to-one careers advice, more internship, more live job vacancies.
0. Maureen's got 5 sisters. They all got ass. One of them has eyes as big as Jolly Ranchers. Beautiful girl. She's a beautiful girl.
Right, we've got stem/long stem, a medley coming up next on track number 8. See you there. Yes, now bless now, people. Let's not forget the rest now. DJ Shadow with the record Entroducing is what we're listening to. We've got a decent number coming up next. As far as length is concerned, at least 7 minutes 47. This one, 7:47. Stem, long stem. It's a medley little number. Let's go. I like it when they leave the samples in the comment section so we can see if we've come across any of them before. Breakcore. Someone says I'm here from Jordan Maxwell. Anyone else? That's insane. I'm surprised this is used in a Jordan Maxwell bit. Jordan Maxwell is a deep one. I'd like you to search Jordan Maxwell. If you like knowledge, uncommon knowledge about symbolism and religious texts and secret societies and all of that good stuff, like planetary worship and how it influences our life day to day. Really good stuff. Yeah, Jordan Maxwell's pretty cool. He taught me a lot of incredible information, sort of put into effect the idea, like linguistically and conceptually, water is money, because your money is liquid, right? And your money goes into a bank, a water bank, right? And you can freeze your assets, right? And so on and so forth. And how I think it aligns with something called admiralty law. And it's Jordan Maxwell. He's gone now, unfortunately. I think the Masons, because he was entwined with like Masonic understandings and worldviews and stuff, and they made him an honorary 33rd degree Freemason, I think, which I believe, I don't know if that's like he wasn't a part of the community or the fraternity, the brotherhood, but they were like, this guy's too cool, we need to like make him one of us to the highest degree, most definitely, because he's got his head screwed on. Yeah, Jordan Maxwell, very, 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 very brilliant information. Stuff that'll blow your head off, you know. Speaking about Christ being the light of the world and the Bible, in reference to it being the sun worship and the 12 disciples representing the zodiac and stuff like that, phenomenal stuff. Saturn worship and all of that stuff. Some says man-made dungeon synth like he's Burzum. Madness. Whoa! I sent a shiver, that was crazy. Love Sweet Nirvana UK. Bro, imagine being called Nirvana and you have to put like Nirvana UK because you're not the Nirvana. It's over. If you called your band Nirvana in the 90s, it's over. It's over. You're enjoying yourself. You've made a great band. You're from the UK. You call yourself Nirvana. It's 1988. You've got a bumpy road ahead of you, that's for sure.
I could just lay right down. I'll tell you, children, I could lay right down.
I mean, at this point in the record, we've definitely transcended the realm of hip-hop beats and instrumental, right? Like, now we're really trying to... Well, we're not even trying. We're really just simply showcasing our capabilities and vast spectrum of effect in the world of producing. This is I was going to say it's really good, and it is, but that would be to do it a disservice. I want to really place an emphasis on how unique it is. That's from a classical piece, that. I don't know which one. This is madness. This is madness. This is so creative. Initially, you know, you put the first 30 seconds on of the record and whatnot, and you think, is this just going to be like a guy jamming over and over, like creating a repetitive... With all due respect, you know, the best instrumentals, hip-hop-wise, are repetitive, right? That's just the way it is. But I'm thinking, are we just going to listen to like a collection of someone's beats? But the transitions and the varied ideas and the changing rhythms, you know, really are something so much more than what I initially thought this could have been. I'll pull you a card, yeah? A mystical and magical manifest. What we got for you? Oh, it's a madness. What we got? We got the 9 of Swords, yeah? You might want to reach out, you might want to communicate to those whom you need to communicate with. Only you know who. Don't lose sleep over it. Get out of the way, get off your shoulders. It's not a song, it's not a message from me. I am but the messenger. I serve as a vehicle of the message for the Almighty, the All. The first effect with no cause.
What's to stop them? I mean, what's really to stop them? Oh, I assumed that maybe someday my mother would realize that I should have gotten out. No, she was nice. She would have known. But still, what's to stop them? And finally, they called.
We're entering into the world of like a more progressive sound here now. It's progressive generally, but now we're entering the realm of soundscapes, you know? It's like King Crimson or flipping... I wonder where this is sampled from. Them guitars. This one might have been my favourite on the record so far. I thought this was really good. The creativity really shone through on this one. The essence of, you know, what people are talking about in the comments, saying this is ahead of its time and whatnot. That this particular tune sort of brought it to awareness. I thought that was really good. Such a fantastic myriad of different sounds in that. We'll just blow into transmission 2. All right, let's have a look at this. Heinz ketchup, yeah. You know what? I don't mind a bit of ketchup, but I like a barbecue sauce or a brown sauce before a tomato sauce.
The budgeting app in base 44. Guys.
Get up, Javi. Transmission 2. One kiss is all it takes. Some build this, innit? Like, if this was to kick into like a boom bap, that'd be a hard instrumental for someone who was nice with it on top. Someone says this is just midnight in a perfect world. Alright, he's got a tune called that as well, near the end of the record. If this is the sound that underlines Midnight in a Perfect World, but that one has drums and whatnot, I'm probably going to really like that number. This is a fantastic sound. It's ethereal. We're going to move on to Mutual Slump, which is going to be track number 10 of 16 numbers. Or as music nerds would call it, 16 cuts. Okay, I'll see you on the next video. Yes! King of the Hairline TV. Shouldn't be my title. DJ Shadow with their record Introducing is on track number 10 of 16. That's what we're listening to. Mutual Slump. Da, 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 da. Better. Some Tom, that, eh? Ba-da, 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 bum, bum, bum. Come on. Do-do-do-do-do. Let's go. A 1 and 2 and... Apparently Swede is in here somewhere. I've never listened to Swede. Oh, is it Suede? Suede. Britpop band, did it, Suede? Nonino says, I love... How do you pronounce her name? Jacques. And the Sugar Cubes. But sorry, I don't like this song. Da, 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 da. Someone referencing Boards of Canada are like this. You know what? I've never come across any Boards of Canada music that's too much like this. I've heard a lot of like airy-fairy, transcendental, like soundscape stuff. I've not really heard anything as rampant as this, you know? You know what's a tune? Ramping Shop by Vibes Cartel. Made me remind of that there saying rampant. Might listen to that tonight. No. Jeez Louise. There's a darkness to this music, don't you think? That's why I enjoyed Transmission 2 so much, and I think I'm really going to enjoy Midnight in a Perfect World, given it has that chord progression, hopefully. There's a darkness to this music. You know, there's a melancholy to the samples here, and in specific, the drums are very, like, distorted and drenched in, like, reverb from time to time. We got Organ Donor coming up next. Shall we just listen to these all back to back? We got Organ Donor and Why Hip Hop 1696. We'll just listen to them all until Midnight in a Perfect World, yeah? Let's see what is going on next. Why am I getting medication advertised to me? You know what? I don't mind that. When I get like advertisements that don't necessarily suit me given to me, I think, all right, yeah, keep this up, you know. I mean, I much prefer gambling advertisements, but... Oh, who's this? I know this. Who's that? Will we have a reference in the comments? This keyboard line, I know this. Let's go. I don't remember this bit. That was hard. That might have been one of my favourite melodies of the shindig, you know. That was good. That was good. That was a great beat. I thought that was really good. Let's go. Little G funk organ there. Listen to that bass line. That bass tone's madness.
It's the money.
Right, we got Midnight in a Perfect World coming up. Track 13, see you there. Yes, now bless now people, King of the Pit TV, DJ Shadow with the record Entroducing is what we're listening to. This tune is entitled Midnight in a Perfect World. Shall we jump in?
Insight, foresight, more sight. The clock on the wall reads 1:15 midnight.
$1.3 million views on this one. Most viewed one on the record. For some who may not know, DJ Shadow entered the Guinness Book of World Records for the first album made entirely of samples. I can honestly say I would spin this record and mix it in and out randomly and it would blow minds. Someone calling it trip hop. Come on now. Give me shivers, man. They're still ongoing. This is a great sound. This is so much more better than what we've heard prior. Not to diminish the value of what we've heard prior, but this more atmospheric, higher frequency, higher register, airy fairy style of soundscape is better than the dark melancholy darkness we've had prior, you know. This is ethereal. This transcends like the hellscape we've been listening to. This is more. This is a representation of heaven and the Almighty, man. Phenomenal. Come on. When we got to Transmission 2 and I heard this sound and somebody referenced in the comments, oh, it's just like Midnight in a Perfect World without the drums, I thought, right, we're probably gearing up for a good one. Come on now. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's go. Come on. Oh. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum. That's a blinder, that.
Now approaching midnight.
Yeah, that's a blinder. That's a proper number. That was best track on the record. I don't think you'll beat that with the next couple of numbers. I don't think you'll beat that with the next couple of numbers. That was a proper. I like that one a lot. I like that one a lot. From the rhythm to the sound as a whole. All right. We had the best of both worlds. The vocal line, don't get me wrong, got a bit busy at the end, but from the first half, that was pristine, perfect. That chord progression and the the reverberation on that chord progression, splendid, pristine. We got Napalm Brain / Scatterbrain, another medley, hopefully with a melody coming up next. Yeah. Yo, King of the Pit TV, Introducing by DJ Shadow. Devoted to my friend Ray. Thank you for the recommendation, Ray. As I said in the last one, what a blinder this has been, right? That's a little bit of terminology I'm going to try integrate. Terminology, is that the right word for it? Who knows? All right. English isn't my first language, by the way, people. In case you didn't know, my first language is babble, complete nonsense. So, Napalm Brain Scatterbrain is the title of this one. This goes out to Ray, who recommended this on the Patreon. One love. What a great change from the norm, right? Let's jump in. We're in unfamiliar territories with this record. So familiar yet so unfamiliar at the same time for a person like myself. What are we looking at? 149k views on this. It might be the longest on the record at 9 minutes 21.
Checkers. One without all that cheat you done last time ain't gonna have no more of that, I can tell you. Let's see what you did. Glasses like that up there on the moon.
Let's go. Let's go.
When the bomb's activated and mutilated the leg and arms.
Let's go now. Done. Wonder who this is on the guitar. Sounds like a Hendrix lick. Someone says I would have loved to see the process. Me too. Me too, to see this come together and how it was put together. I would have really enjoyed to see that. Someone says the guitar riff is from Hendrix, I guess. Maybe unconsciously I picked that up as I had a quick scroll of the comments before. But it does sound like a Hendrix riff. But I'm surprised. Maybe when it comes to sampling, if you only utilize like 4 bars at the most, you can sort of get off with the whole copyright thing, the intellectual property thing. But I'm surprised how you can get off composing an entire record made of samples, because of course there's some main motifs in this. The underlying bass line, for example, if it comes from a song and we're just hearing the main bass line of that song over and over for 4 minutes straight, why wouldn't the label be like, wait a minute, we need to get a cut from this? Do you know where I'm coming from? So the business behind this record, I'm fascinated. Because trust me, people, it does happen, all right? You hear some nightmares when it comes to publishing. The poster boy for publishing issues is Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve, and how the Rolling Stones, or at least the Rolling Stones manager, was like, nah, we need the money from this one. We need the money. Apparently the Rolling Stones band were just like, let them have it, but the manager was like, nah, we're not dealing with that. So yeah, peep game on that. Come on now. One, two, three, and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Listen to them twinkles there, huh? Mystical, magical. Bum bum bum. Dun dun dun. Some build this, huh? Ah, this is crazy, man. This is a build. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, someone's giving us the samples here. Moment of Truth / Ghetto Shakedown. I assume that's the sample at the start by Charles Bernstein. A Funky Kind of Thing by Billy Cobham. Space Odyssey by the Daley Wilson Big Band. Or should I say Space Odyssey 2001 by Daley Wilson Big Band. And someone says MAGA just got triggered. Oh, this is a bot. We saw this same person in an... Isn't this crazy? How there's like AI comments on random posts. Politically like farming engagement. Isn't that weird and dark? What's the purpose and who's doing this? To just go on YouTube and create emotional discussion over MAGA. Wow, that's... You know what? Wherever this comes from is a crazy rabbit hole. Shall we have a look at the profile? 1 second. Okay, so check this out. This is the profile. We've seen... Obviously, it's an AI image here, but there seems to be someone behind it. Look, if we look at videos 1 month ago and 2 months, so I don't know if this has been hacked. But we'll find out. Sorry to go off topic here, but we might have a little bit of a creepy rabbit hole here. Richard K. Pryor, 16 subs, 219 videos, 58,000 views altogether, so that's not too shabby, eh? For a random account we've come across. Sombler Richard on iCloud. We got Elon Musk, Dan Bongino are stealing from my bank account 2 months ago. Is this a schizophrenic person, perhaps? We've got plenty of shorts by the looks of things. Playlists. Impersonating me is a crime, and bank fraud is a bigger crime. Dan Bongino. By Richard K. Pryor. So if you're joining me just now, this account is randomly just like leaving politicized random AI seeming generated messages upon like random things. This guy's mad. This Jake Shields guy who he's got in this playlist. I think there's something up with this guy. I think this guy's an agent of chaos. He creates a lot of bold content to a degree where I think you're just speaking a little too spicy. It raises questions. I don't know about that guy. And any sort of political spokesperson, left or right wing, who's like at the forefront of communication and creates big bold statements and sort of gets away with it. I think, who's paying you and why are they paying you, and are you like a component? I mean, they would call it controlled opposition, right? That's the conspiracy theorist term. Donald J. Trump is not the president. Richard K. Pryor. Signs you have fallen in love. We've got some affirmations in here. That's nicer. Who is Bongino? I'm not too clued up on American politics. I mean, we get force-fed it over here in England, but you know, who cares, man? It's all theatre, isn't it? It's all a facade, right? I endorse Jasmine. By the looks of things, I endorse Jasmine too. Who's that? What's her name? Jasmine Crockett. Makes the case for Democrats to nominate her in Texas Senate race. Yeah, if that's her on the thumbnail, I'm voting for her too, to be honest with you. It's over, you're done, Dan Bongino. Is this a dude going through some sort of psychosis? His post Snoop Doggy Dogg, and he said Dan Bongino is a bitch impersonating Richard K. Pryor's music. He has blocked... What the hell? We've found a fascinating dude. We're going to watch one of his videos in a second. This entire listen through goes out to my man Ray. Ray, I apologise if you want me to get to the music, but this is part of the process. Richard K. Pryor is aware of this record, so we're going to share the experience with this guy as well. Sorry to break it to you. Let's just have a little deek of what's going on here.
You know, we're dealing with...
Comments are turned off.
A very critical and crucial crucial time. Most crucial and critical time. I want to talk about. They call it the side of the pond, call it. Look at him. Now you see.
This guy's speaking through the medium of music. Is he going to say anything?
A brother have. You don't.
Give this guy a subscribe. I'm in complete support of this guy's channel. Hey, he might be awaiting that the get-go. He might be waiting for the confirmation for the yes, and then you might see this guy, you know, pop up. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's get back to the music, yeah? Napalm Brain / Scatterbrain. Yeah, some rhythms in that one then, eh? How was that? We've got What Does Your Soul Look Like Part 1, Blue Sky Revisit coming up next. Arguably the last track on the record, track 15 coming up now. Yes, now bless now people, King of the Pit TV. I'm going to finalise this record with track 15 of 16 flowing into the last transmission. It's entitled What Does Your Soul Like? What Does Your Soul Look Like? Part 1. Blue Sky Revisit. Let's find out what'll go on. Come on. One love. Clarity on them drums there. Bum bum bam ba bam ba bam bam. Bum ba dum. A 1, 2, 3, and bum ba dum. Joshua Tea Leaf says, I listened to this album with my 60-year-old dad, brackets, who isn't cultured. Put some respect on your old man. Put some respect on your old man. What you on about is not cultured. Gets the head moving, doesn't it? Gets the toe tapping, gets the shin shaking, gets the hips wiggling. Let's finish off with transmission free, see what it's polishing off with. Unlimited data. I'm getting ripped off with my phone bill, to be honest. And every time I ring someone up, I go through to some, with all due respect, I go through to some foreign land with a person who can barely even run me through the identification process, let alone talk to me about my contract and saving me money. It's crazy. And I don't have the time to go into the city centre to, go to the shop. So I'm just stuck with this extortionate bill. And it's like, these corporate businesses, right? They outsource the call center staff for obvious reasons. They pay them flipping pennies, right? For the sake of it. But it's no good for the consumer, especially if you're talking financial matters. It's a madness. They give you the worst fucking communication of all time. With all due respect, I'm not being harsh to who they are. They're just innocent people doing a job, right? But as far as I'm concerned, I don't want someone hitting the wrong button when they mishear me and end up giving me 20 contracts instead of one. Do you know what I mean? So I'm on the phone. This poor lady puts me on hold for about 8 hours just to flipping find my address. By the time I'm back, I'm like, I don't even want to inquire about the main reason I was ringing up for. And then the audacity to try sell me a product at the end, it's like, piss off. Do you know what I mean? The companies are exchanging customer service for the CEO's profit, and it's flipping disgusting to me, right? As a consumer, someone who supports your business through my custom, I would like to speak to someone who can understand what I'm saying, all right? Put a long story short, with all due respect to the people who work there, but there you go. Do you see how I got triggered by an advertisement for a phone company? That's how deep it is. That's how deep it is. You know what I mean? Once again, with all due respect to those who work at these firms, the outsourcing does my head in. Because I want a smooth journey from A to B when it comes to my personal finances. I need coherence.
It is happening again.
A little spooky number. I wonder if this was a hidden track or just thrown on at the end. I wonder if this was like later, and then it blended in and gave you a little shock, because this does have secret track energy, you know? That was transmission free, just to polish it off. We just listened to DJ Shadow with Introduced. I'm going to give you one last video. I'm going to rate this album out of 10 and I'll talk about it as a whole. I'll see you on that flip side. Peace. Yes, now bless now, people. This album gave us a lot of food for thought and a lot of interesting topic matter and discussion. We listened to DJ Shadow with the album Introduced, and it was recommended on the Patreon by my good friend Ray. Thank you for the recommendation, Ray. This is it's been a nice experience to change from the norm, guitar-based music. So thank you very much for that. This seems to be a historical document of sorts, a root of the things to come in the years that were thereafter. I enjoyed it. I am not a hip-hop head, but I am a fan of hip-hop music when needs be, or at least my younger self was definitely a fan of hip-hop music. I like a bit of rap now, but not, well, I say now. I do like ignorant rap music. I listen to rap music, arguably. I listen to rap music more than metal, to be honest, metal and punk. Like, there's... My attitude and my spirit resides within like the abrasive sounds of metal and punk music, but on my day-to-day I listen to more rap. So this isn't too far adjacent to what I do enjoy, so it was a good recommendation. We've got, how many tracks would we say? We've got plenty of interludes, so I'll count them up. We've got overall we've got 16 tracks, to put a long story short, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tunes if we were to call Organ Donor at sub 2 minutes a filler as well. So call it 9 tunes fleshed out. You know, a couple of them are medleys, so you can say, oh well, there's 2-in-1 tracks then. No, we're not going to do that. We'll just call it track by track basis. Call it 9 tunes with experimental interludes in between, filling the gap and creating this cohesive piece of work. This was good. This was good. This was enjoyable. This was all sampled, apparently so. He got put in the Guinness World of Records for this. So we raised a lot of fascinating discussion, or at least fascinating to me. My apologies, maybe it bored your head off, but the music business and how I assume to this day it's like so conflicting as far as the business and the intellectual property is concerned. The master recordings, the writing credits, what's going on? Down in the description of these videos, it quite simply says DJ Shadow, so there's no other claims via other acts or music. So I do wonder how it happened. I wonder if he did actually pay the publishers to use these samples, but if so, it's like, are you a multi-millionaire from the get-go? Like, how are you doing that? Because that wouldn't be anything close to a profitable project, disregarding the historical basis. So I am interested to see how that happened, or the ins and outs of the legalities of such. Maybe if you only sample so much of a track, you can sort of get off with it as fair use. I don't know. But this was a great project. It was a great experience. A lot of darkness to this, you know. When you think of hip-hop and hip-hop instrumentals and like... I know it's not necessarily hip-hop instruments because people are referencing like breakbeat and referencing trip-hop and all of this sort of crazy stuff. I'm not very clued up into that. I can't define these genres very well. But... a little bit of boom bap in there as well, to be fair with you. But what we had was like a very dark sound. The power, the distortion and the reverberation that was applied onto the drums in particular created this heavy sort of solemn, darker atmosphere, which you don't really get from like, you know, hip-hop adjacent beats. Let's be real, you know. You might get a little bit of more of a horror and a darkness when it comes to your, you know, your horrorcore adjacent rappers, whether that be like in a drill sense or a ignorant like rap sense, you know, with the 808 beats. Yeah, who are some good producers in that realm? Whomever produced for like Southside is good at that. I like these sort of beats like Southside and who else did, I mean, it goes without saying 666 Mafia as far as the horror sort of side of things and the grimness, but there was a bit more like of an actual dark tonality in a soundscape sense as opposed to like a theatrical sense. Trying to think of more artists like Southside that produce just that overt whacker flock of flame sort of 808 booming madness, which is my favourite style. Like when I speak of like ignorant rap music, that's the sort of stuff I like. Just high energy gym music for the most part, you know, big booming 808s, no need for overt lyricism and whatnot. But such as we discuss that and digress and go off on a tangent, this project created a lot of food for thought, which allowed us to discuss a lot more uncommon discussions that we don't normally get on this channel. So that was the benefit of that. But there was a darker sound, and I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the darker sound, because when we came to Midnight in a Perfect World and the upper echelon atmospheric, higher frequency, more transcendental sound and chord progression, more sort of like upbeat, not upbeat in a sense, but like major tonality within one way or another. I don't think you wouldn't classify it as like a major key, but you know, as opposed to like the more down in the dirt basement dwelling sounding dungeon synth that some people referenced on the other, believe it or not. That's where I felt this album really shined. It was my favorite track. I thought it was a one-of-a-kind production. I thought that tune in particular was phenomenal. It gave me a shiver down my spine, which is incredibly rare, but it does happen from time to time through these recommendations, and that's what gave me a prolonged one there. Very, 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 very good sound, which applies to my personal tastes. That was to rate this record. I'll give it a 7.5. So I'll meet you in the middle as far as artistic work, as far as development through the tracks, the progressive sense, as far as unique identity, and as far as originality. Yeah, it's really, really, really such an incredible creative project. But as far as my personal tastes, I like to meet you halfway, so I'll detract a couple because it's not necessarily something. It's a tune I'd have on in the background. It's a record I'd have on in the background as I was working, because I won't be distracted by vocal elements. And don't get me wrong, it gets the foot tapping, but it's not something I would have on to consciously listen to, you know, to consume and absorb. This works best to sort of set a tone to something else you're operating on. So I'll give it a 7.5. I thought it was a great project. I'm more than happy to listen to it. And you know what? I learned a lot, because given it had such historical emphasis and really made a mark, I was completely unaware of this record. So it was a great feather to my hat, per se, as if that's what the term is, in regards to educating myself on the beauty and expansive nature of this music game. All right, I'm signing out on that. Peace and one love. Goodbye.